Welcome to Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms. This is Raph streaming to you live high above the keep in the hot air balloon. With me, as always, I have Neindorf tonight. Neindorf, how you doing?
I'm doing real well. I've had some vacations, I'm ready to get back to it.
That's awesome, yeah. And we're today is September 21st. Can't believe it's September 21st. Dealing with a little bit of a clogged toilet tonight with the an uncharacteristic clogged toilet over on Avalanche Chain. What's going on there?
Yeah, so it sounds like, oh, whoa, it just came up. Wow. Hot live news here, everybody. Anyway, what had happened apparently is there were updates to some of the Avalanche subnets, and it kind of caused them to stop creating blocks. So the networks were effectively frozen for about, I don't know, 25 minutes. But I'm looking at my browser here with MetaMask, and I think blocks are ticking through again. I see my balances. So,
All
all
right.
right, look at that timing.
Excellent. I mean, it must have been because we jumped on the podcast. That's for sure it.
That's right. It's almost like we won the lottery here.
Yeah, well, speaking of winning the lottery, what's your question of the day?
Yes. So we've done a few random things over the months here with question of the day. Usually, what's the best this, what's the best that, how would you do this, how would you do that? So this is kind of a little bit farther out there necessarily, but you know, with some of the stuff that's going on and with these prices, I kind of got a question of, you know, what would you do if you were a whale out there and you wanted to invest in DeFi kingdoms? Where would you park, say, 100,000 Joule? Obviously, I don't have that. This is just a hypothesis question, sort of on the state of this game and on the health of this ecosystem. Where would you take it?
Gosh, that's such a good question. I think it probably depends on, if you're a whale out there, or how, um, what do you have in the game so far, and where can you start, allocating jewel sums, and let's say, for all intents and purposes, a whale getting into the game, they're interested in the gameplay aspects of the game. I feel like it's a little more fun to recklessly speculate. Otherwise, it might just be go to gardens. That's
Right.
easy choice. And so actually, I was chatting with someone earlier this morning who was asking for some advice, and I was like, well, I'm not sure I'm qualified to help answer, but I'll give it my best shot here. And I think if you're thinking about PvP, I'm thinking that you're going to want to go for purple first and foremost. I mean, mythic heroes, they gain that boost every 5 levels. Even if you get Steve the Pirate style rolls on your regular level ups, that every 5 levels boost is going to bring your average back up. So I mean that's I think the first piece of advice that I'd go after. Second piece of advice is you can be selective, and so if you can find heroes that have advanced abilities, why not? Those advanced abilities will probably pay for themselves later on, but they may not be worth a lot right now. So I'd take a peek at that. And I think my third piece of advice is, as you're picking your purple heroes and you're looking at the tippy top of what's available out there, I'd go for a balanced team. I would not go to only Dread Knights and have a team of 3 Dread Knights. In fact, I would almost wonder if and we have no idea what Wonder Gaming Studios will allow. We can tell you from a Fight Club tournament organizer standpoint, we don't allow more than 1 Dread Knight in our standard tournament style. I could see the same kind of rules being applied, when you're looking out at the whatever Wonder Gaming ends up creating with their version of the game. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think I like where you're headed there. I get the point that if you're so it's basically the preface that you're wanting to play the game, and as a whale, then you should aim for the tip of the iceberg, if you will.
Right,
The point of the spear.
right.
And so purple is going to be that at level 50,
Mm-hmm.
I totally get that. That makes a lot of sense. Um, so recklessly speculating, then, I do kind of like how you're saying be careful with abilities, especially without knowing. what they amount to. And we kind of have that suspicion that some will be better for some classes than others. So I think that kind of does make sense. You could probably get more bang for your buck on all basic abilities with the purple right now. Um,
Right.
and the other thing I might say too is since there isn't an actual game play quite yet, be patient, right? Let's stack
Yeah.
that jewel to more jewel,
No
and
need.
eventually,
Also, yeah, I agree with the being patient. No need grabbing that level 20 hero right now. I don't
sure.
think that really gets you a lot. And in fact, you're probably paying a premium. You might be able to find like, and I don't know. I'm looking right now. My screen is showing two legendary Dread Knights, which are just beastly looking. Oh, they're both King Bakas. So,
Yeah, there
um,
you go.
yeah, wow. Yeah, 45,000 jewel and 43,000 jewel apiece. I mean, that's a lot. And so I seeing them at level 20 though, like you don't need level 20 right now. And it's probably more efficient. Now, there's not one on the market. So you can't say look at level 10 and look at a level 20 and it's worth it for you to stand pot the level 10 all the way up because you can do that. I don't know. So sorry, I interrupted your
No,
point on being
you're
patient.
good. No, you're good. And I think I'm playing the non-whale version of this right now. We've talked a lot about, hey, hey, Nindorf, are you gonna get back into the Gen Zero game?
Mm-hmm.
And I still think I will. Unfortunately, I think with Jewel and now Crystal prices still at the quarter mark or below a quarter, it costs a lot of Crystal.
Yeah.
Because my money's all in the game already, right? I'll say, like I'm in. I don't really have much else I could bring in. And so from that regard, I'm kind of waiting for prices to recover. And I mean, I might have to play the long game. It could take a year for us to hit these good crystal values. Maybe you get crystal or jewel back around $1. And then I think you're going to see these Gen Zero prices fall just because of the dollar value, it will compensate for the increase. And
Yeah.
so then maybe I'll get back in because, now I'm this jewel pile I'm sitting on, I don't have to spend as much of my pile on one hero.
Yeah. I,
I think that applies here too.
I will say, yeah, Gen Zero prices have definitely gone up over the last couple of weeks as well. Like I probably, you've told me before that I usually time the market well. I think this is one area that I did not time the market well. I think I sold mine for, I want to say, I think it was 16,000 jewel, and he was a purebred DR1. So looking at some of the prices now, I probably missed out on maybe 5,000 joules, something like that, or crystal, excuse me, which is even more valuable at the moment. But
Right.
that's all right. Actually, I can see him on the market, so he's been relisted for ten
Oh, that's
thousand
funny.
more almost than what I sold him for. So yeah, I won't be picking him back up. But I mean that's the kind of the game you play if you're into trying to trade heroes. And so I guess that would be part of my advice as well is I don't I don't like playing the short games. I like playing the long games. I mean, I feel like anytime I'm trying to play the short games of the trading, the buying, and the selling, I mean, you're really up against guessing the market. And I don't have the kind of clairvoyance necessary to be successful. Yeah, that's. Ooh, here's a berserker, a purple berserker for 29,000 jewel.
Yeah.
Hmm.
See, and some of those heroes are lower level too yet, so they have some, you
Yeah,
know,
and I think that's exactly the kind of deal that I'd go for. I'd look at, I think getting back into the Gen Zero game is totally another option.
hmm
So cheapest legendary is 18,000 jewel. Level 8 legendary over here is 26,000 jewel. I mean, that's a lot. That seer, I'm actually kind of surprised that seer is 18,000 jewel. I would expect seers and berserkers to kind of go up in price.
Right. I'm really glad I didn't look at this earlier this evening when I cashed out all my LP and bridged it over as Jewel. I had a fairly sizable stack, and I'm really glad I didn't look at hero prices.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's so tempting. All right. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess the other thing to look at is, mythic, advanced, and beyond classes. And so you could look at, it depends on, what you're going for, but you kind of got to imagine yourself in um, buying or in combat mode in the future. And so I'm going to click on the advanced classes, and I'm
Hmm.
missing. I
And
got them
while you're
all.
doing that, another thing I might say is, there's a step we took very recently that was less than 100,000 jewel, and it was to purchase land.
Yeah.
Uh, Now I don't know what that's going for right now, but I think its prices have been up there too, quite a
I
bit
think they're around 100,000 last time I checked.
for the
Jewel.
floor.
Yeah,
But I don't think any's moved in a while either. So I don't know
that's
that
true.
that's a realistic price. But
Right.
still, like that's another option where it's going to be harder to get your ROI right now.
Yeah.
You're going to be playing the really long game there.
Yeah. I mean, you could pick up this summoner monk here for 1,500 crystal. Boost that. I mean, this is where I feel like you could grab a few heroes, and like if you're really like throwing jewel or crystal out, and you're spending like this summoner, you throw a few thousand crystal on top of that, and I don't know what a few thousand crystal gets you in terms of levels if you put that all in the stand pots. But I would have to imagine that gets you to level 10 at least, which is it makes you competitive um, at this point in the game. The other thing that I would maybe look for, and this is like when you can start playing with money, is like looking for guys that are PJ survivors as well. So like this summoner right here, summoner priest, PJ survivor at 5,000 jewel,
Hmm.
level 12. Man,
Yeah,
that's not that
that's
bad.
very interesting.
I mean, how would you have avoided this if you saw this earlier today? A level 12 PJ survivor, mythic summoner priest for 5,000.
What are his stats? How they look? They're looking all right. They're not great.
They're you're right. They're not.
It's almost like he didn't get his
They're
bonus for PJ
balanced.
either. Well, no, he would have got it in Vitality, it looks like.
Hmm. I mean, it was an interesting. I would say it's been interesting stat placement, to
Hmm.
say the least.
They're kind of going to spread it out. Yeah, I mean, I could see the spread too, having a rounded. Okay, interesting.
Yeah. And the next cheapest PJ survivor.
You're probably not going to see one for a while. Yeah, 11, it's not terrible.
Oh, this is the guy. I actually messaged King Bach about buying this guy. Um, and it was funny. I was like, "Hey, you still gonna put this guy on the market?" And he goes, "Nah, I think I'm." He's like, "I was on the fence, and I just decided." I feel like he did it just because I messaged him, but I don't know. And he's like, "I think I'm gonna go ahead and stamp on him to level 20." And I was like, "Oh, that's kind
Here
of a
he
lot of
is.
effort." He's like, "No, I definitely have that botted." So here he is, level 20. I think he was selling him for, I want to say it was 8,000. So to take him from, and he might have been level 12 or 13 at the time. So to take him 7 levels, he's increased the price to 11,000 jewels. So
That probably was
that's,
how much it cost him.
yeah, yeah, probably. But that's interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah. I was
So
really tempted to grab this guy.
the problem I have with buying level 20 now is I feel like you're absolutely wasting every quest run from now on out.
Oh,
Like
right.
I could get behind buying a 17 or an 18, but I don't know. I would hate burning that stamina and getting rewards and having no XP earned. I don't
Hmm.
know that something about that just like makes my skin crawl a little bit.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying there. Okay, well, since we've alienated 99% of our listener audience in this conversation, including ourselves, let's check YouTube first and
Yeah, any
see what we have
questions?
going on there. Uh, Big Nothing saying, caught one live. Hey, AFK, how you doing, Big Nothing? Raven Toe jumping in first. And Zill says, ID Park 100,000 Jewel, not LPs, just Park. That's actually,
Oh,
that's an interesting idea too.
fascinating.
Yeah, you could pay a lot in a permanent loss, and I guess maybe what I would say is, that's where you could jump in the Jewel X Jewel pool, which is like no brainer, better than the bank, right? I mean, you're getting no impermanent loss, and you're actually earning something on it. I mean, earning more than you would inside the bank, right?
Right. And you got to be a little careful now because they're about to change the XGO contracts. I think that's true at the moment.
Yeah, that good call.
But once they change the XGO contract, then there's going to have to be a conversion or so, you know, just, again, not financial advice, but I think you're right in a sense that historically that would have been a greater choice. I think that's the time is ticking on that one.
Yeah. Oh, we have Crypto Grady, Sir Worm in the house, Sergeant Filthy McNasty in the house.
Nice.
How you guys doing? I know why you guys are really here, and that's for our big announcement here. So, do you want to kind
Oh,
of line up or preview, or tease a little bit? What do we have in the works?
do you want to do tease relative to a possible event or dev dive? Where are you headed here? Let me
A
know.
possible event,
Oh, okay.
a new tournament that
Absolutely.
we're
We
running.
like tournaments here.
We love
We like to
tournaments
get
here.
people battling against each other, perhaps, maybe even fighting, you'd say.
Yeah, almost like you could join a club for that.
Right. Like kind of like this movie from like the 90s or 2000s with Brad Pitt.
That's right.
I'm terrible with years. I don't know when it was.
I It had to have been in the 90s, I think. All right, so we're planning a new Fight Club tournament, collaborating with Brad Pitt himself and with the Bogside Chat guys. I teased something out on Twitter a little earlier today, so I'm gonna show the picture that I teased on Twitter. So I put out. Do you? Speaking of 90s, do you remember this movie?
Oh yeah, the Little Rascals. Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I feel like I need to watch this again. It's been, I don't know, probably 2 decades, 3 decades since I watched this.
The Gen 1s might appreciate it.
They really might. I had the Gen ones watch Sandlot. They really liked
Yes.
that this year.
We did one recently too, the Big Green. You remember that one, the soccer one?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's. I feel like it had the same cast, didn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah. All right. So this teasing out here the Little Heroes, and so we've talked about this a little bit. So those of you who have been following closely, you kind of know what we're going for already here. This is the equivalent of the Mario Kart 50cc Cup tournament. So we are going to develop a Little Heroes tournament. And so we have a Fight Club sign up. I'm going to go ahead and drop this into chat right now. All right, so
We'll
drop
make sure
this.
we get a link to that in the
Yeah, we'll
video
get
too.
the link in the description as well. So this is the Baby Cup Fight Club sign up. And so tournament will begin Friday, October 8th, and we are going for 64 participants. So a 64 person bracket. So we need your help to shout this at the rooftops. And here are the rules. Each participant will assemble a team with 6 heroes like usual. You use 3 at a time and you have 3 on your bench. Seeding will be determined based on a formula once registration closes, which was based on stats the last time that we did it. And each round will be a best of 3 game series, and it will be single elimination. And then gameplay will be governed by the standard in-game Fight Club rules. So here's where this is going to get really fun. It's going to be a 15 crystal buy-in tournament, and that gives us a 960 crystal prize pool, which is just absolutely bonkers.
That's
And so
epic.
first place will get 300, second place will get 200, runners up on third and fourth will get 30 each, and then we are going to be putting 300 more crystal then into the prize pool raffle system. Now, what is the raffle system, you might ask? And so this is for every match that you win, you get a raffle ticket. So similar to how the raffle ticket system works for, the rewards for DFK duels right now, except we're going to do it on the spot. And so we're going to tally up all the raffle tickets that you get. And these are kind of like fictional raffle tickets. We're not actually handing anything out to anyone's account. And so there are going to be 3 separate 100 crystal prizes. There's a summon with Gen Zeros, courtesy of Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms, us. A summon of Gen Zeros by the Bogside Chats. Sir Worm, I think I got him lined up for a summon. And Crypto Grady, I said, hey, the last time you said you wanted to do a summon, can I count on you for a summon? And guess what Crypto Grady told me? The legend himself said, not one, not two, not three. No, he said three. So we're, I can't believe it, but Crypto Grady, Grady Gambler, he's committing 3 summons with his Gen 0 pairs. That means he has 6 Gen 0s that are going to be summoning it out. So big thank you to Crypto Grady. Oh, and he also, to boot, threw in the stones too. He's like, and they will be summons with stones. And I was like, oh man,
Nice.
you are a absolute legend. So Crypto Grady, I know you're out there listening. Thank you for that. Now, everyone, please shout this at the rooftops. We got to get up to 64 people to make this tournament work. That's where we really get the prize pool going and make this a lot of fun. Now,
So are we gonna just take the first? In crazy chances that we happen to get more on this Google form, I assume we'll just do first come, first serve, right?
that's right. That's right.
Okay.
And, one other thing that we should talk about is we've never done a tournament with this size of people. And so we are going to put some strict rules around the time frames. And so, we're probably going to open it up on Friday. And we expect people to, and we're going to pick Eastern Time, United States. We expect people to do all their first round of battles between, I think, like 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. that Friday. And then between 8 p.m. and 1 a.m. for the second round battles. And so in order for us to get through the 64 team bracket, we really have to make sure that we're sticking to a schedule. And that's something that thankfully everyone was really responsive and attentive on the last tournament, but something that we're just preparing for. If someone misses their time slot, unfortunately, like the show is going to have to go on. We can't have one person holding up an entire side of a bracket.
Yep, that makes sense.
And
Yeah, and I
then,
think this is really cool because I think what we're trying to do here is with the level ones, we're wanting to let's add some utility to those and let's make it so that anybody can I think a lot of listeners and people out there playing this game can get behind 6 uh level 1 heroes. And I suppose if you want to submit, 3 valid ones and I don't know how the form works on Google, but if you
yep,
only had 3, you could technically have 0 bench, I suppose.
that's right.
So, the entry of this is very minimal.
Yeah.
And we're trying to make it so that everybody can participate and have a chance to get those raffle tickets for
Yep.
the giveaways.
Yeah, a lot more accessible. And really, the only restriction that we're going to put on the level 1 heroes is that we can't do Dread Knights. With their abilities right now, they're just too powerful. A level 1 Dread Knight would come in, and if you get that overpower, you will like knock out most of the other heroes there. So outside of that, I mean, if you want to have 6 Dark Knights that are level 1, more power to you. Go for it. But yeah, we're just saying that there's going to be no Dread Knights, unfortunately, available to this. And like you said, we did really want to make this accessible to a wider range, a wider audience. And one of the things that we anticipate is that the battles will actually be more fast-paced, which I think will be good for the tournament to try to get some fresh people involved and online.
Yeah, are you planning on doing any streaming of these
Yeah.
rounds?
Yeah, great question. We are planning on doing so once we get through our schedule, and we'll release the kind of the final criteria of the schedule. But we're going to do the semifinals and the finals on Sunday night, and so we'll start that Friday. The tournament will go into Saturday. I would expect that someone is probably going to stream. I don't know. Maybe we can count on Crypto Grady, Sergeant Filthy McNasty, maybe the Bogside Chat Crew. I would bet someone is going to stream on Saturday, and then on Sunday we will be broadcasting live the semifinals and the finals matchup. And so the last time it was absolutely epic with Corey and Pouring. They went to the third match for the best of 3. Man, it went back and forth the whole time. So I hope we have the same kind of high level competition going next time.
Perfect. I love it.
Yeah. All right. Well, Mythic Dragoon team, OP, Maddie is asking. I've been thinking about Mythic Dragoon level 1 team. And actually, I don't think it's going to be that OP. Dragoons take their only ability that they have in the game right now takes 40% health. And if you think about it, that's actually more OP at the full game level than it would be at the level 1
Oh,
the Little
sure.
Heroes Cup level. So I feel like we're not going to see a lot of Dragoons. I don't know. Maybe we do. It's a possibility. I actually think that Summoners could have a chance to be pretty strong. And I tried fielding a Summoner the last time. And the Summoner's abilities, they have one called Haven, which heals your front line 30 for the next 3 turns. And then they have one, I can't remember, it's like a fire move that deals damage to the front line opposing team 30 each turn for 3 turns. I feel like those could
Ooh,
be I feel like those could be pretty powerful.
we've got to create level 1 tier lists here.
Oh
Let's
yeah.
let it rip. We're gonna have a lot of data to churn through after this tournament.
And Guy Kid drops in the truth bomb here. And he says a full team of monks will be meta. I agree. I think that most teams will be running at least 2 monks. Monks, remember, they have 2 really good abilities. The first one is meditate, which boosts your meter pretty much up to full after basic attacks, and so that gives you 1 meter. And then they have Kai Blast, which does it requires 3 meters but does 300 damage.
Those are KOs.
Yep, yeah, for the most part. I think there's a few characters. Well, I would guess at level 1 that's pretty much all KOs. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
What am I saying? Guessing. It's definitely a KO.
But I think what we're also suggesting is these matches will probably be less rounds because of the lower health.
That's true.
So are
And
you going to get that built up? Obviously, you're gonna, as a monk owner, you would want to try to get these skills off. So I think you're gonna see interrupting left, right, and center
yeah,
here.
that's where you could have a team of like 3 monks. It's like, how do you interrupt both the, two monks at the same time?
It's a coin flip.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah. So Guy Kid said Neindorf just read my mind. Can you get to 3 meter fast enough? That's interesting.
So do you remember my the first game I ever played where I got to 8 or 9 meter and broke the game?
Yeah, it was the stall tactic for the win for sure.
Yes. Too fun.
Yeah, and the Wanderer here says, is that a Diablo reference? I love that name, the Wanderer. If it is, kudos to you. I missed it. When is Eternity? October 8th, Friday. Is that October 7th? Let me look at my calendar. Calendar's not pulling up. Okay, so YouTubers out there, help me out.
The eighth is a Saturday.
8th is
So
Saturday, so October 7th is when it's starting. Friday, October 7th.
there we go. Yep.
Couple weeks out. Getting
That'll be here
excited.
before we know it, everybody. Get signed up.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely get signed up. I have a feeling that this will fill up. With this prize pool that we have, there's no way people aren't getting into this. I mean, if you think about it, 15 Joule times 20 cents. So what are you looking at? Like $3.50 or something.
Right.
And so $3.50 to the prize pool out there would be awesome. So if you get one of those Gen 1 10 out of 10s, there's going to be a great chance for that, with there being probably like 6 of those out given away in prizes and hundreds of crystal being given away in prizes. So yeah, we're looking forward to having you out there. And a big thank you to the Bogside Chat guys. They're going to be helping us doing most of the administrative work when it comes to running this. And of course, a big thanks to Joseph for developing the game. He's really got his head down right now. Do you want to give a quick dev dive update on maybe like what are some of the sneaky alpha that you saw from Joseph today, and then what are you working on for Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms?
Yeah, sure. So, on the ADFK site side, in the past we had an analytics page and some of the Power BI stuff. I had a bit of a database snafu, I'll say, about a month ago. I'm finally trying to get back to, cleaning some of that up. Now that we've kind of getting our market data page off updated, So I'm kind of working some of that in the background. I also had some vacations too, so I haven't had as much active
Mm-hmm.
time. And then I think I got a few more error emails here from the site while the chain was down. So some more holes. Every time something kind of crazy goes on, it kind of points out more things in the code that I could improve to kind of make the site more robust. So I'll be looking into that sort of stuff as well. Um, then from a Fight Club perspective, yeah, I had some talks with the devs over there. We're like trying to figure out how we want to move this forward, and I'm suggesting that as we go to smart contract based Fight Clubs, where if you wager on these matches and then the Fight Club engine, if you will, pays out to the winner. I'm just trying to figure out how do we best capture all this event so that you and I can hone in on the data and the meta
To some
and get these
analytics, yeah.
tier lists. And so I was suggesting that he make, blockchain events where we can just all of us out there on the dev servers for DFK who are very familiar with watching blockchain events can write our own code to basically just intercept those and then put them into our own databases and start, doing analysis for you guys so that you can have all that info. So I think that's kind of what we're at this point where we're trying to make some slow updates and improvements, bring back some stuff, and then also plan for the future as we hope Fight Club continues to grow.
Yeah, love it. All right. Well, I'm about 37 minutes out on my summon, so we're gonna swap over to summons night. So go jump onto the Discord. I'll drop a quick link in chat here in just a second. Jump over onto the Discord. We'll do some screen shares, and hopefully we get the summons train running. And all of these excellent heroes that you summon tonight, save them for the tournament. We gotta bring the fire. So, any other closing remarks that you want to make?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think, I had a little brief, I would say maybe panic attack when I noticed that DFK chain wasn't running. But, here, we're glad to see the team immediately responding and look at how fast, things kind of gotten resolved. So I think, it's basically a more or less a false alarm, if you will.
Yeah.
So I think that combined with all the exciting stuff we've got going on here with Fight Club and the site, I couldn't be more bullish.
Hashtag bullish. All right, let me check YouTube real quick, see if we have any last question. The Wanderer clarifying. So only level ones allowed in the tournament. Yes, only level one. So this is the Little Rascals or the Little
Baby
Heroes
Cup.
Baby Cup tournament. So only level ones allowed. So yeah, we're trying to make this really low entry, so you're not fighting pouring Dread Knights. Or just Corey, who's a straight beast. So, thank you very much, and yeah, looking forward to seeing you guys over on Summons Night. So come join us on Discord.